we moving on to the jockey pump, or let's say maintenance pump. And if you only require a maintenance pump or jockey pump to maintain the pressure into the fire protection system. What is the meaning of the maintain the pressure inside the system is that if your fire protection system got a small leakage, which is very obvious if underground fire water networks or at the bend, at the joint in the threaded connections, gasket, in all those areas, there might be some kind of a leakage, right? So that leakage, very small one. Those leakages shall not be maintained by the main pump, because we don't want to start or stop the main pump much frequently to maintain those leakages, right? So those leakages should be only maintained by the jockey pump. Now, idea behind that is that here we have the life of the jockey, the life of the main pump, right? The bearing, the shaft, the mechanical equipment, impeller, everything. We don't want that to rotate frequently. Maybe let's say 10 times a day for 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, or 5 years, right? So by doing that, the main pump will be failed. The bearing will damage and will need lots of the maintenance. The performance of the pump will reduce. For that, we need a jockey pump, which will only maintain the pressure in the fire protection system. Now, what is the size of the jockey pump, right? As we discussed in our class, the main pump size, if let's say if it is 500 GPM, the capacity of the jockey pump should be like 5% of the main flow. Sorry, 1% of the main flow. So we have 5 GPM capacity, and the pressure should be 10 psi higher than the rating of the main pump. This is what NFPA says as a rule of thumb. We just want to maintain the pressure, right? Like let's say consider if we have underground fire water networks, right? A underground fire water networks, we have to size the jockey pump based on the 1% of the main fire pump capacity. If your fire pump of 1000 GPM, right, rated at 140 psi, right? So the jockey pump need to be 1% of 1000, which is 10 GPM. So minimum size of the jockey pump should be 10 GPM. Coming back to the pressure of the jockey pump should be at least 10 psi higher than the main pump. In that case, if our main pump is for 140 psi, the pressure for the jockey pump should be at least 150 psi. This is why the jockey pump is just to maintain the pressure. The 1% is only for the underground fire water network. Coming to the above ground network, suppose your fire protection system is going to protect a sprinkler system, right? So in that case, the flow of the jockey pump should be at least equal to the minimum K factor of the sprinkler system, right? We have a sprinkler system with a K factor of let's say 5.6 as per NFPA 13 and minimum pressure of 7 psi. That sprinkler will give us a 15 GPM of flow. So we need a jockey pump of 15 GPM in our case for the above ground or sprinkler system. Now, as I said, this is not a pump to fight the fire, just to maintain the pressure into the fire protection system, right? To save the life of the main pump. It will go up to 20 years without any problem to damage the bearing and all. So this one need not to be listed. What is the meaning? There should be no requirement for the UL or FM, either for the jockey pump or for the valves we have in the jockey pump. We don't need this one to be listed on, because this is not, normally we need listed or approved listed material for something which is for fire protection. This is just maintaining the system. We might maintain those pressure by other pump also, because we just want to save the life of the pump, while the main pump is saving the life of the property, person inside the healthcare occupancies and the various protection of the warehouses and the storage areas. This is how about the jockey pump. Again, in the jockey pump also, if you can see, we have a check valve, right, so that the backflow of water can be avoided. In the jockey pump, we have a OSY type gate valve into the suction line. Now, the suction of the jockey pump is coming from the same suction of the main fire pumps, right? So the water line coming all the way from this one, and at this location it is getting discharged to the discharge line and doing the function. So the question is that if the sensor, the one I discussed, the one I'm going to discuss in the next video regarding the sensors, right? So those sensors detect the fire, right? Let me make it easy for you guys. Those sensors will detect the loss of pressure into the fire protection system if there is a leakage, right? Even if there, the sequence we have to make in such a way that in case of the pressure drop, the first one will start the jockey pump. The jockey pump will start, just to keep in mind, it will only start to maintain the pressure. So if there is a leakage, it's okay. The jockey pump will go up to 10 psi and it will fulfill those demand. But if there is an actual fire and the spindle is getting activated and we need large capacity of water, let's say around 400 GPM, right, or 500 GPM, the further it will only maintain up to 10 psi. So let's say if the jockey pump rated for 150 psi and fire pump rated for 140 psi. So this will maintain only a 10 psi higher pressure than the fire pump, right? But if there is an actual fire, there is high flow. So when the flow goes higher, the pressure will reduce. In that time, even the jockey pump is working, it is not maintaining the pressure. At 15 psi drop in the main fire protection system line, the main fire pump will start and it will supply water to the fire protection system, keeping in mind this is the actual fire and now it will protect our occupancies. Now it is all about the jockey pump. Again, I explained that this not need to be listed because this is not a purpose of the pump which they want to fight the fire, just to maintain the pressures. We have, as for an FEA, we need a redundant pump. We have a jockey pump, we have electrical pumps, and we have a diesel pump, right? But diesel pump we don't have at our facilities. But I'm just explaining the sequence of the operation. In case of the pressure drop, right, the jockey pump will start and it will maintain the pressure in the discharge piping. But further, it will only maintain a pressure difference of 10 psi. If the pressure goes up 15 psi changes, the main pump will start and it will supply the water to the fire protection system. Now, if the building got fully covered with the fire and the electrical connection, the feeder connection with the motor got damaged and we are not getting power to the system, now terms come for the diesel pump. So the first pump will start the jockey, pressure is going below, then the second one, then electrical pump will start, and even the electrical pump is not supplying the requirement, the diesel pump will start and it will boost the pressure in the system and to fight the fire. This is all about the jockey pump. We'll discuss regarding the controller of the main pump and the jockey pump in our next video. Thank you.